start the session, I request Anirudh to offer a prayer to the Almighty.
Suprabhatam. So, what I have selected for today is a composition by Swami Dayanand Saraswati ji, and it describes the nature of the Atman, the Brahman, and it is also a prayer towards that supreme being within us. Bhavaye Paramatmanam Bhava Bhayaduram Bhavaye Paramatmanam Bhava Bhayaduram Nitaram Bhavaye Paramatmanam Shravanamana Prapta Satatvam Shravanamana Prapta Satatvam Shravanamana Prapta Satatvam Adi Madhyantarahitam Paripurnam Bhavaye Paramatmanam Bhava Bhayaduram Kalpita Sakala Bhuvanadharam Kalpita Sakala Bhuvanadharam Kalpita Sakala Bhuvanadharam Sadguru Sumukha Kamalodbhutam Kalpita Sakala Bhuvanadharam Sadguru Sumukha Kamalodbhutam Japatapa Karma Sushitaya Buddhya Japatapa Karma Sushitaya Buddhya Bodham Pratibodham Vidita Mahantam Bodham Pratibodham Vidita Mahantam Asangamaswapnamachintya Rupam Shantam Shivam Nirvikalpam Paresham Samam Sada Sarvabhuteshu Gudam Sukham Swatantram Subodha Swarupam Bhavaye Paramatmanam Bhava Bhayaduram Nitaram Bhavaye
Before we start, I will just give a quick introduction to Swamiji. Swami Chidanandaji has been a Vedanta teacher and speaker on human values for more than 3 decades. After he served for 5 years as resident Vedanta teacher in San Jose, California in the mid-1990s, his work has been mostly in India and the USA. Since 2006, he heads Fowai Forum, a non-profit that disseminates philosophical and spiritual knowledge with special coverage of Indian ethos. Numerous talks by him are on YouTube at the Fowai channel. The author of 7 books, he is specially known for his presentations on Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads. Hailing from Udupi district in Karnataka, he has been living in Solan, Himachal Pradesh since 2013. He had begun with a career in electronics engineering with a BE from Mysore University and MTech from IIT Madras. Then he served Chinmaya Mission, the organization of Swami Chinmayanandaji, for 18 years and the foundation of Jiddu Krishnamurti for 10 years. We are grateful that you are here, sir. Dhanyawad.
With the permission of the Swamiji, before he starts, small request from all the delegates who are here. One of our delegate guest, Shri Kumarji, has visitors back, the delegate back. So I think someone have extended in the dining hall in the morning because all bags look alike. Can we all quickly look into our own, whatever the bags we have, those who have been in the delegate dining hall? It has its wallet, all its travel ID, everything is there. Maybe you have also been missing. So you can get it to know. Please, can you all quickly check into our own delegate bags? So if you have, please come out. I'll be outside. You can give it. He has to leave now. His ID, travel ticket, everything is there. Please quickly, let's all check in, and maybe you have put it there, so you will also be in trouble. So we can extend. Please quickly, let's all check in your bag, please. Ensure that you have your own bag only. Yeah. Thank you so much.
ಒಂದೇ ಥರ ಇದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಯೈರಿಮೇ ಗುರುಭಿಃ ಪೂರ್ವಂ ಪದವಾಕ್ಯಪ್ರಮಾಣತಃ ವ್ಯಾಖ್ಯಾತಾಃ ಸರ್ವವೇದಾಂತಾಃ ತಾನ್ ನಿತ್ಯಂ ಪ್ರಣತೋಸ್ಮ್ಯಹಂ. ಓಂ ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರುಭ್ಯೋ ನಮಃ. I am truly much delighted to come for the second time to MYU, and the energy here, the enthusiasm, lots of good people to meet, and very nice programs, and flawless organizing and execution. There's so much to learn, so much to imbibe. So before I begin my talk, I offer my compliments to Indica Group and every one of you too. We are here to take a look at facets in the Upanishads of Tapaha. Tapaha, to take liberty with the language, has these letters Tapa. Tapa is to rise. Tapa is certain fire of transformation. If we really do it with certain involvement with our heart, we are sure to rise in consciousness. And the liberty part is, if you reverse those two letters, Pata, there is the well-known word Patana. If you only talk about tapas and live in the opposite way, there also it is guaranteed. What? Fall is guaranteed. Patana is fall, tapana is heating and then rising. Therefore, we are in the interest of our own happiness, our own unconditional security, feeling good, feeling well, we must know what tapas is and we must get down to it. It's so heartening to see a lot of young people in this audience. In a way, I envy them. At that age, if you get into tapas, sky is the limit for your rise. So let's see how we approach this topic. Oh, what happened to my Devanagari? Devanagari got a bit affected. Anyway, there is Roman transliteration too. So, before I get into details, the gist of this presentation revolves around a certain statement in the Taittiriya Upanishad, Tapasa Brahma Vijijnasasva, and when we reflect on that statement in the light of Shankara Bhashya and other Samagri material, what tapas boils down to is intelligent inquiry into one's true nature. intelligent inquiry into one's true nature. Who am I? What's this whole universe? What's my relation to the universe, to the world? Therefore, it's inquiry well informed by the revelations of the Upanishads, by the findings of great masters, great women and men who did tapas and went to the heights of spirituality. It is thus the foremost means towards self realization. No need to say yoga and Vedanta, bhakti and karma and various combinations chosen carefully to suit our personality. We are all equal and we are all one in the spiritual essence. But the way our personality is made, the way our preferences, likes and dislikes go, there are a lot of differences. Therefore, on the soil of this country, from time immemorial, so many paths were advised, prescribed. Find out what works very well for you. Your own brother or sister might be walking a different path, but you find out with what your heart resonates. And in the Jnana Marga, the path of wisdom, study of Upanishads is regarded as most fundamental. That study, which also may be called Shravana, leads to Manana, and then it goes to Nididhyasana or meditation. So, interestingly, when we talk of inquiry, I already raised the issue of who am I. I may quickly refer to the great master in the last century, Ramana Maharshi. He was asked, what is tapas? And he gave an unconventional definition. He took the context of japa, mantra japa. Someone is repeating a mantra devotedly. Normally, we are told, have devotion to the deity whom the mantra may be praising. Sometimes we are told, don't worry about anything else. When you recite a mantra, listen to the sound of the mantra. But Maharshi Ramana interestingly said, as you are doing japa, inquire from where the mantra is rising. Look for the source of the mantra. So, obviously, though it's put in a little different language, it's all about discovering something deep inside us. Our personality will not suffer in the process. Rest assured, our personality made of body, mind, speech, the skills we have acquired, the talent we have, the degrees we got, all of them actually get divinized. If we know who we are at the bottom of our heart, at the center of our being, whatever we know outwardly will all start flowing in a noble direction. This is the promise. We won't lose anything, we only gain. We won't stop contributing to the society, we will contribute more, or if not more, on a deeper level. That is assured, and when we study the Vedanta, it becomes so logically clear. It cannot be anything else. More happy you are, more happiness you will give to others. There's no question of running away in the name of spirituality. So, Ramana has this interesting definition of tapas. We have now quickly, though I will quickly come back to Upanishads, a comment is in place. All the scriptures actually praise tapas. Scriptures, some places they are said to be 14 in number, Chaturdasha Vidya Tanani, but otherwise, four are most prominent: Shruti, Smriti, Itihasa, and Purana. And I would dare say, Shruti, that is Vedas, which has two parts, Veda Purva, which in number of mantras may be very, very large, And then Vedanta, which is also part of Vedas, and in number of mantras, in terms of that, it may be smaller. So Veda Purva Vedanta, all together is Vedas. They talk about tapas. Smriti, 18 Smritis, and in addition to them, even Bhagavad Gita is considered a Smriti, though it is contained inside a Itihasa, that is Mahabharata. Then Itihasa, Ramayana and Mahabharata Itihasas. Then you have Puranas, lots of stories, but never think it's only stories. Inbuilt into the stories, there is a whole lot of philosophy too. Bhagavatam is, for example, the most well-known Purana. And all these actually at places talk about tapas. Quick examples. In Veda Purva, somewhere it is mentioned, tapasa kalmasham hanti. It's through tapas that kalmasha, your impurities, are destroyed, are removed. And in Upanishads, where we'll take more examples later, Mahanarayana Upanishad praises certain virtues of life, Satya, Dhamma, and so on. And one line is, Tapasi sarvam pratishtitam, tasmat tapaha paramam vadanti. Everything finally is in tapas, Mahanarayana Upanishad says. And therefore, the wise supreme. Tasmat tapaha paramam vadanti. That is Veda Purva and Vedanta. Then coming to Smriti, why should we go anywhere else? Since Gita is also a Smriti, Bhagavad Gita in chapter 17, chapter 18 has much to say about tapas. And I would quote only one line here, Yajnadana tapak karma natyajyam. I sometimes take this as a topic, 3 imperatives of Sri Krishna given by Sri Krishna. Leave anything in your life, but don't leave these 3, he says. Yajna, Dana and Tapaha. Let's not go to Yajna and Dana. This Tapaha is one of the 3. Yajna, Dana, Tapak, Karma, Karyameva, Manishinam. The wise people say, or the wise seekers know, that they have to do Yajna, Dana and Tapas. And so Tapas appears there. Many times translated as austerity, and as is the problem with many Sanskrit words, austerity may not be doing full justice, but it's a good word. Austere living, whereas the opposite would be to waste away our energy. Energy in the body, energy in speech, energy in thoughts. Every morning we rise, begin a new day, and so much energy, a new packet is given to us. Call it by God, call it by nature, call it by anybody, but we get new energy. Alas, unless we are careful during the day, a good percentage of that energy gifted to us in the morning goes away in wasteful activities. But when we do tapas, in fact, Vinoba Bhave says, tapaha is taking care of body and mind. Yajna is taking care of environment. Dana is contributing to other people, charity. Let's not go more into it. Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, tapaha na tyajyam. Then Shruti and Smriti are over. Going to Itihasa. Can you believe the Ramayana, which is 24,000 shlokas, has mention of tapas twice in the very first shloka. Tapaswadhyaya niratam tapasvi vagvidamvaram naradam paripapricha Valmikir muni pungavam. Valmiki meets Narada one fine morning, and that shloka says Narada is ever engaged in tapas. Tapaswadhyaya niratam Naradam. And this host, Valmiki, who receives Narada that morning, is also a tapasvi. Tapasvi Valmiki Hipapracha. That's how it starts. Thus, it begins with tapas, Valmiki Ramayana. And it is said, if out of 24,000 shlokas you make sets of 1,000, you get the at the beginning of the first 1,000, then pa, then ra, etc., you get no, what is that? Tad, sa. Tat savitur varenyam bargo deva dhimahi you get. Can you believe? The letters of Gayatri are found at the beginning of every set of 1000. That's how they have organized. So, tapas at the beginning of Valmiki Ramayana. First kanda, first sarga, first shloka. Then, last but not the least, you have a Purana example. Here I have not picked up any shloka, but everyone knows Purana has so many stories, and almost in every story there is somebody. It could be a man, it could be a demon also. Everybody is into tapas. Rakshasa also go stand on one leg, hands raised, and do some tapas, and then get some boons. Then they start troubling the world, troubling everybody. So leave aside all that masala, but there is tapas. It is through tapas that a weakling becomes a powerful person. A non-performer becomes a force to reckon through tapas. So now we will go into the chosen domain. And a quick word on how Upanishads in the last several centuries, 2 or 3 centuries, have gained worldwide attention. Vivekananda, of course, in the second half of the 20th century. But before that, also Schopenhauer in Germany, a professor, was so drawn to Upanishads. He said, Upanishads are the solace of my life. Upanishads will be the solace of my death. And Vivekananda said a lot of things about Upanishad. One of them worth quoting here is quickly strength, strength, and strength is the message of the Upanishads. And is there anybody here who doesn't want strength? I don't know about you. I badly need more strength in life. So I better do tapas. So Upanishads are a very, very wonderful mine of uplifting, life-giving statements, revelations. That's how it's worth looking at tapas in the light of Upanishads. Oh, excuse me that Devanagari has gone about to Devabhumi, I think. Swarga. It has gone. It's supposed to be language of gods. And today we humans are not able to read that Devanagari script. But most places Tapasa Brahma Vijit, some places I may not have given the transliteration. I'll recite anyhow. This is the main statement we will focus on in this presentation. In Tadaitya Upanishad, the third Valli called Bhraguvalli, you have a father called Varuna who says to his son, you want to know Brahman? It is possible through tapas. Tapasa Brahma Vijidnasasva. We'll go into it again in another slide. The son Bhragu is instructed by Varuna, that's the setting, and he says, look for Brahman through tapas. And if you ask, where should I look for Brahman? Annam pranam mano vachamiti. There is an expression. Annamaya, pranamaya, manomaya, all that comes there. And we are presently sitting in Vijnanamaya Kosha, as yesterday it was clarified. 4th floor. And everybody has started wondering since yesterday why we were asked not to go to the 5th. Don't go to Anandamaya, it was said. We are restraining ourselves, controlling ourselves. Somebody made a guess already. Maybe you go there and there is no railing at the surface and you may fall off. In your excitement, wow, how nice place, and you start dancing and then fall off. So, Vijnanamaya, the intellectual sheath. Anyway, so you must look within the grossest level, grossest domain, physical, then emotional, energy level, and so on, and go inward. That's what Bhragu, the son, does. And also, when I look for Brahma, what are the characteristics that I should look for? How do I recognize if Brahman comes in front of me? Therefore, it is called Lakshana, the characteristics. Characteristics are again another much quoted line in the Upanishads. Yato va bhutani jayante imani yena jatani jivanti yat prayanti abhisamvishanti. There is a line. that from which all living beings, human beings included, rise, that in which all stay, and that into which all merge back. That is the characteristic, lakshana of Brahma. My son, catch hold of what I have said, what to look for, where to look for. Brahmanaha upalabdhistanani annam pranam manovacham. By mentioning three or four, all the sheets are implied, and Brahmanaha lakshana. And then Brahma sets forth that we shall see in detail later. And now, what does tapaha mean basically? Take that very statement, tapasa brahma vijijnasasva, and just a little before that, and on that statement, please check what Adi Shankara has got to say about this tapaha. First of all, in an introductory paragraph, before even the third chapter begins, Shankaracharya, the Advaita commentator, and we have great respect for all the teachers, Ramanuja also gave scintillating interpretations, which even today attract and impress large numbers of people in the world or everywhere. Madhvacharya is no less. With due respect to the three main acharyas, because my training has been in Advaita, I share with you what Sri Shankaracharya said. He says, tapas is bringing outer and inner instruments. I translated as under control. He uses the word samadhanam. Bahya antakarananam samadhanam. So samadhana literally actually means what otherwise would get scattered, you sort of collect and keep at one place. Imagine you got some lot of precious pearls or diamonds, and excitedly you are taking them and they fell down and went in all directions. Oh my, you say. Quickly you collect, or you don't let them fall. Same way is our thoughts. The thought energy gets into all kinds of activities, good or bad. Even in what is considered preparation for Brahma Vidya, in what is called Karma Yoga, Sri Krishna in the Gita tells us, stay in Swadharma. Don't try to do anything and everything that impresses you. Somebody is doing this, you want to do that. Someone else is doing something else. Don't go into too many things. If you are very sure you are made for playing multiple, some of you are like that. Some people are like that, you can play 7 roles. But generally, you and I, maybe 2 roles, 3 roles, and most of us only 1 role. 1 role. Somebody cooks well, and another person has only 1 role. He eats well. He should focus on. I don't want to elaborate on that. Do what is pleasing to you, what is like Joseph Campbell, somebody in America who deeply appreciated Eastern wisdom, had said, follow your bliss. Follow your bliss means in a long range, whatever gives you deep satisfaction. Life looks very meaningful because you have stayed with a particular domain. That is Swadharma. Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. That line comes twice in Bhagavad Gita. So, in higher plane, on the higher plane, what is said is you must bring your mental energies together, not in the matter of what you should do, what you should find out. It's an inquiry for knowledge, because the mission in the Advaita Vedanta is everything else is possible through karma, but liberation is through jnana. Liberation is through right seeing, samyak darshana. 99 steps could be karma, upasana, and so many wonderful things. Life has a lot of wonderful things that you and I can do. All of them can give us a very pure mind, very receptive mind, very loving mind, very strong mind, which can take a lot of adversity in its stride. All that is fine. But for you to do the quantum leap, for you to get free of bondage, for you to realize that unbound and infinite Brahman, The way is said to be seeing, not doing. And for that seeing, again you need mental energy and it has to be focused. So, Vahya Antakarananam Samadhanam. Then that requires, Shankara quotes then, the English translation says, it requires concentrating mind and Indriya. Indriya, as you know, 5 Karmendriya and 5 Jnanendriya. Therefore, Manasaha Indriyanancha Aikagrim is the word he uses. Aikagrim is Ekagra, becomes Aikagra. More often we know Ekagrata. Ekagrata. There's only one thing in front of you, that is Ekagrata. There are multiple things. You are looking here also, there also. Even last night in the dance, the Vikshipta Chitta was shown in the dance. It was so nice, 5 kinds of vrittis, etc. So I read somewhere, there's a book called The One. So I glanced at some pages. And then I saw one interesting statement. If you chase 2 rabbits at the same time, you won't catch even one. Both will escape. So follow only one rabbit, it was said in the simplest language. Aikagram paramam tapaha is a statement in Mahabharata. Therefore, Smriti, MB means Mahabharata, Smriti says that Aikagram is most adorable, or it is the Paramam, Tapaha is the Paramam Tattvam. That is prescribed. Shankaracharya says this. Thank God, it is not something incomprehensible. All of us relate to this. Oh, so tapas doesn't mean we have to stand upside down. Tapas doesn't mean you have to be in too much cold or too much heat. There are some practices, you know. For example, there is some practice, I don't know whether people do it these days. Fire in all 4 directions. Fire in front, fire behind, fire to the right, fire to the left, burning. As though that is not enough, that has to be set up in the hot sun of Chennai or South India is notorious. Uh, uh, so sun above, fire on all sides, and you stand and I don't know what you do, some mantra japa or something. Thank God, you don't have to do those things. The tapas here is bring your mind to focus. Be more attentive. Later I will be showing a summary. In that sometimes it takes the form of gently observing the way your mind is operating. Just observe. Some other time it could stay, or it could take the form of be with man. I'll come to that. But thank God I'm saying Adi Shankaracharya gives an elaboration for tapas, which is something that immediately makes sense to us. But in order to arrive at that ekagrata, that samadhana, we have to take our own path. Some may get it through bhakti, and in this Mysore Yoga Utsava, we all have been learning or relearning, reviewing so many Vedic yogic practices, asanas, pranayama, then of course Ashtanga Yoga, Pratyahara, Dharana, all of them are there. So many kinds of asanas, so many kinds of pranayamas, and each is such a gem of finding by ancient seers. Therefore, the concept is very clear. And how you will achieve your ekagrata, find out which sadhana, yoga or jnana, bhakti or karma, or some combination which helps, you need to find out. Having said it, let's now see this idea of concentration. I was drawn to Vedanta through Swami Chinmayananji, whom I met for some 13 years, and I was in his organization for more than 18 years. Swami Chinmayananji had a wit and skill of making things simple. He said, tapaha or ekagrata is nothing but your mind should be where your hands are. You're working, even if it is making a cup of tea, or it is doing some difficult asana, or it is some scientific or technical experiment, where it is quite complicated. Never mind. In small and big things, if you and I bring the mind to where our hands are, if manaha and karma are together, then that is concentration, that is samadhana. So samadhana is tapas. During day-to-day life, it doesn't have to be in some kind of spiritual activity. In whatever, you are talking to a friend on phone. Meanwhile, you are also looking at another mobile message, suppose. 1 in 100 may have that capacity. I bow down before them. But 99 among us, if we do 2 or 3 things, nowadays all this Bluetooth and so many things have come. So we put it on the ears and we are talking to somebody. Meanwhile, we are preparing something, arranging papers. Many a time things go wrong in that. One thing at a time. So he said, that is samadhana. Day-to-day life, in mundane tasks, in very, very simple affairs. Sometimes we are talking to somebody and simply saying, and so on. Our mind is somewhere else. Sometimes he asks a question, how far is Chennai from Mysore? Yeah, you are right. You didn't even hear. That because your mind is somewhere else and you think you are very intelligent and you think the other person is talking in a boring manner. Never underestimate anybody. If you are conversing with somebody, it is of immense value to pay attention. Listen. Listen. Unless there is some true pressure, it's better you and I interact with each other with full attention. It pays you yourself rather more than the benefit to the other person. So, going further, we see, did I jump? Correct. Oh, I jumped. Correct. I jumped 2 slides. So this is the next slide. Quickly mention some mantras from other Upanishads, because Tapasa Brahma Vijidnasasva is from Taittiriya Upanishad, and we have Kata Upanishad where Yama, the Lord of Death, therefore Eknath Ishwaran, a good writer on the spiritual verse, titled his book on Kathopanishad, A Dialogue with Death. Nachiketa has a dialogue with death. And in Kathopanishad, as you know, the young boy, probably 14 years old, asks, tell me what survives even the death of the ego. The physical body dying, he knew. Nachiketa very much believed in going to heaven or some kind of life after the body's fall. But the subtle body, Sukshma Sharira, remains. If you go further beyond, not just grass body, so-called subtle body, causal body, etc., is there something which is utterly indestructible? That was his question. And Yama tries his best, more to test the boy, of course, to give him other offers. All of you know the story. The boy remains adamant, I want the knowledge of the pure supreme self and nothing else. And then, in a very poetic way, Yama says, Oh Nachiketa, every teacher aspires to have a student like you. I'm so glad you have come to me. And what you are asking for is what the Vedas praise. Sarve Vedayat Padamamananti Tapamsi Sarvani Chayadvadanti Yadichanto Brahmacharyam Charanti Tatte Padam Sangrahena Bravimi Omityetat. He says, what you have been asking for very persistently is referred to by knowledgeable people as Om. And all the Vedas praise this Om. Then comes tapas. Seeking to know this Om, people practice tapas. Tapamsi sarvani cha yadvadanti. And as one of the expressions of tapas, lot of people say what you call observe brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is way beyond celibacy. It's an overall attentive living. When you are living attentively, you don't let your energies get wasted. Therefore, as a higher meaning and a broader meaning, as per context, we have to take. But our focus is the second quarter of this mantra. Tapamsi sarvani cha yadvadanti. Kata Upanishad. Then you have in yes, Kena Upanishad 4.8. Yes, towards the end of Kena Upanishad of Samaveda, there were apparently several students. One student did not get ABC of what was taught so far. And that boy or girl also gets up and says, Brahma Vidyam Bruhi. Please teach me Brahma Vidya. What was taught all this time? It's like all of you know, there is a way of saying. Somebody heard the whole Ramayana and said everything was so wonderful. But what's the relation between Sita and Rama? Like that, there is a question. Surely in the class, some got the highest wisdom as per who were a little distracted. In fact, most of us identify with him only. Because after hearing and people like me, after talking on Vedanta for years, we wonder, finally, where is this Brahman? It's not so easy to lay our hands on it. So one boy asks, Adihi Bhagavo, Brahma Vidyam Bruhi, some such sentences there. The teacher immediately understood. This boy, good fellow, I know him, but unfortunately his mind was not focusing properly. He needs to prepare his mind. The same fellow with proper preparation will catch the truth. Like wet wood doesn't catch fire, don't throw it away. Dry it, keep it in the sun. Wet wood, dried properly, and then bring a matchstick. You will catch fire. You and I are unfortunately, for some valid reasons. Don't blame others. You also have contributed. Don't blame yourself too much. Others have generously contributed to the mess in your life. So balance it. I am what I am thanks to, a joint effort of others and myself. I blundered. I had many misjudgments in my life. When everybody said don't do it, I said I'll show them who I am and try to do it and burnt my fingers. Some other time I sincerely wanted to do something, but others did not cooperate, whatever. Don't blame anybody really. Don't blame others. Don't blame yourself. At a given point of time, just recognize the fact that you don't have enough capacity to concentrate. Aikagram paramam tapaha, mama aikagram nasti. I don't have enough concentration. Then there is the mantra. That was the third quote or second. Tasyai Brahma Vidyayai Tapodama Karmeti Pratishtha Veda Ayatanam Satyam Ayatanam. The first one, some 5 or 6 values are given by the Rishi of Kenopanishad. We don't even know the name of that Rishi. But Kenopanishad, a short one of Samaveda, has a Rishi. For those who could not concentrate, that you will have the mental ability. It's not just intellectual, it is in fact qualities of both head and heart. Some of us here are very good intellectuals, but we have a poor heart. Emotionally we are weak, or emotionally we are stone-like. Then some others are so rich in love and care and this and that, but somehow intellect is not sharp. And yoga, develops yoga, helps us in all possible ways, in all necessary ways. So tapaha is mentioned first. Tasyai Brahma Vidyayai tapo damaha karma iti pratishtha Veda Sarvangani Satyam Ayatanam. Towards the end of Kenopanishad. So there also tapaha is continued effort by which you get certain mental abilities. And when you get them, you will wonder, how come I didn't have this before? This is so natural to me. A lot of good things in life are like that. To love is natural. To hate is not natural to us. But we hate and suffer. And to speak is natural. Simple also. Just say what the fact is. And to speak a lie, oh my God. I think nowadays people use ChatGPT to decide what would be the intelligent lie in this scenario. Let me check with AI can help me. What shall I say? So this tapaha and damaha and all that are very simple. And one more example, though it's not in a way, in the same sense, in a way slightly different. In Mundaka Upanishad, it is said in the very first section, tapasa chiyate brahma. Brahma, the one without a second, there's nothing other than Brahma. Then it swells and then becomes many. And Srashtikrama, a certain process or a sequence of teaching, or not teaching, a sequence of creation is mentioned over there. Tapas is used there. In essence, it's no different because you and I focus and our mind is operational, our senses are operation. If I want to focus on something, my eyes also get very, prepared. Let me see properly. Eyes are also concentrating. That level of Brahma, there are no eyes and no mind, nothing. And therefore it is said, Yasya Jnanamayam Tapaha. There is a certain subtlest activity of intelligence. Before intelligence expresses itself on the plane of mind or intellect or eyes or ears, nose or tongue, because every sense organ, every organ of action has its own intelligence. They get their own, through training. If you have, there are no tea tasters are there, wine tasters are there. That's a profession. You get paid for it. And I take one sip of some wine or the tea taster, one little spoon of tea, not good. See, that's the Jnanendriya, tongue. So, in our case, operation of intelligence and then the concentration involves sense organs and so on. In the context of Brahman, one without a second, tapasa chiyate Brahma. Through tapas, Brahma swells, it is said. And then tato annam abhijayate, anna prana, prana. There's one sequence given. Number of Upanishads talk about how this whole creation came into being. So tapas in Kathopanishad, tapas in Kenopanishad, tapas in Mundakopanishad, and many other Upanishads also talk about tapas. Now, in summary, what it boils down to. In recent times, we have had someone like Ramana Maharshi. He speaks the truth of Upanishads, but says it all boils down to your constantly questioning your present assumed identity. Assumed identity. You assume or you presume. You take yourself to be. There was one 72-year-old man who used to see matrimonial column of Times of India every day. I said, is it for your grandson? He said, no. Is it for your son? No. Then why are you? It's for me myself. I said, okay, no problem. Everybody has his freedom. Then he said, somehow, even at this age, I am proud to say, I think I am most eligible bachelor in this town. That is his self-perception. This may be too much of a joke, forgive me. But every one of us, you like or not, I took 40 years to realize that through my Vedanta study, I was not trying to know Brahman. I discovered one morning, oh my God, 40 years I have not sought to know Brahman. Vijitnasasva I did not take seriously. Then what did I do for 40 years? I went on honing my skills in talking and wanted to become a good speaker on Brahman, and I reached somewhere. You know, I don't think anybody slept in the last 1 hour. I reached some level. Now, never too late. At the age of 68, I'm trying to shift. Who cares whether I lecture well or not? Who cares whether I write well or not? Who cares whether people think of me as a knowledgeable person or not? I want Brahman now. To want Brahman requires a shift of identity. If you look at yourself as a poor speaker, want to become a big speaker, before wanting to become a good speaker, your identity, I am a very poor speaker, I make grammar mistakes, I pronounce words. That identity, Ramana says, you are much more than a speaker or writer or husband or son or this or that. Put all of them together, keep it aside, and ask, who are you? Then there is J. Krishnamurti says, observe the movement of the self. When somebody praises you, you feel good. Wait a minute. What is that which is feeling good? That's called the self with a lowercase s, not the capital S of Vedanta. Krishnamurti uses the word self, S with a lowercase. Watch the movement of the self. In closely examining the movement of the self, you will actually undo it. He doesn't talk of a pure self, but we Advaita Vedantins find he is talking of that same transcendence, from separate self to the undivided self. Nisargadatta speaks of I am. He says the problem with everybody is they always add something in a hurry. I am a woman, and it's difficult for women to live in this society, somebody says. I am poor, somebody says. I am not tall enough, somebody says. Don't add man or woman, tall or short, rich or poor, gifted or. Don't add. There is a sense of I am. Stay with it. This is Nisargadatta. Many of you know his famous book, I Am That. And through many such combinations, there was a John Klein in California, or originally from Central Europe. He said, perceive, do not conceive. See things, but don't allow your mind to conceptualize and add labels, call it good or bad, etc. If there is a red apple, see the redness, that is genuine. But don't add, this apple grew in his garden. My garden never had a good apple. Like that. This is a concept, conceiving. Perceive, do not conceive. So, in any way, these are all ways teachers have explained. Know the falsity of the separate I. The true I then shines on its own. When the clouds move away, the sun shines on its own. To be done. I have made the clouds move away this morning or this afternoon. Now I need to do something for the sun to become visible. You can't see. Sun will shine on his own. That's how Upanishads say it is all about, whichever method you use. So that's about it actually. There was a slide, tapas is mature awareness. Such nice words sometimes can make us very happy, but how to arrive at that mature awareness is a $1 million question. I pause here and maybe there is time for one or two questions or comments. Gratitude. Are there one or two questions?
Thank you so much for the illuminating presentation, sir. So you said, who am I? What? My question has always been, why creation? So, yes, creation, but why creation? If you could illuminate on that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because of the paucity of time, I will tell you what the Advaita Vedanta stand is towards this question. Just as my present notion or present perception of who I am is very debatable, very questionable. At the depth of it, there is no separate I at all. Likewise, believe it or not, this world, this creation is questionable. This creation is of relative reality towards the I. This creation and the I which perceives the creation are a pair. They are mutually dependent. The Buddha also spoke the created the creation on one hand, and you and I, the perceiver, are a pair. This pair rises together and falls together. They rise and fall on the substrate of the truth. Therefore, though it may be too hard to take in, there is no creation, absolutely speaking. And it is not insult to creation. It's like somebody thinks a rainbow is real, you can go and touch it. There is no real rainbow, it's an optic illusion. There is no insult to rainbow. A physics teacher may teach the falsity of the rainbow, there is nothing like rainbow. But after coming home, he may call his wife and children or husband and children. Hey, come, today there are two rainbows. Come on, let's have tea looking at that rainbow. And if he is gifted with a little poetry, he may write a poem also. Right? So to call the rainbow as unreal is no insult to the rainbow. So Advaita Vedanta calls this universe or this creation unreal, which in no way insults. We, like anybody else, we thoroughly appreciate the charm, the beauty, the grandeur of this creation. But if you go to the depth of it, there is no creation.
Thank you for the great, wonderful lecture, sir. My question is that how does one know if someone is practicing continuously and doing tapa? But how does one know if the cycle or the chain of tapa has broken somewhere?
Yeah. So after all, that's where memories are put to a good use. As we do tapas in any of these glorious paths, there are various forms of tapas. Tapas is sadhana. As we progress in sadhana, we distinctly remember how there were times when, let's say, we used to fall for even a little temptation. Then there was a time when I had, developed steadiness. I had more energy. Some of my relationships became beautiful, at least in my eyes. They might continue to criticize me, but I feel it's fine. So we feel lightness, our requirement for sleep, our requirement for talking, etc., reduced. Then your question now, how do we know that it had a setback in between? The old things return. Suddenly I sleep too much, suddenly I talk too much, suddenly, I suspect people. These are all negativities. So, in one sentence, the reduction of negativities experienced is a sign of tapas taking us higher and higher. Return of some old negativities is the sign of a lapse. Then again, gather your time and energy, do tapas. Yeah, it's the negativities.
Thank you, Swamiji. If there's one thing that Vedanta holds dear or promises, it's joy, ananda, as expressed in the declaration of Shankaracharya and many such acharyas, Chidananda Rupaha, Shivoham, Shivoham. I think that experiencing that ananda is the promise of Vedanta, but not necessarily when we are going through the classes we get to enjoy it. So it's a very demanding study that happens. But if someone can serve Vedanta in such a joyful manner, not just the hold the promise at a later time, but also while providing it, enable us to experience it. I think this is the most valuable thing that you gave us, Swami Chidananji. And I really feel those students who studied under your guidance, especially in Sandipini for a decade, They all have been great Vedanta masters all over the country and the world. We can see how this wisdom has translated and empowered so many people around. Thank you very much. There was something that Swamiji was referring, which is also the philosophy of Indica as brought about by Hariji. So I just wanted to mention it and also invite him. Hariji follows a approach of self, selfless, and self. The first self is the self with the small s, then followed by selfless, followed by self with a capital S. The first one, his approach is to help people identify what their life motive is, where their passion is, whichever your area of passion will catch you there. So identify your passion, start working in that area, and work to that extent where you can really give so much you become selfless. And then while you're doing it, pursuing it in a selfless manner, in this journey, you discover yourself with capital S. That's been the principal philosophy of Hariji. So I invite him to kindly honor Swamiji with the token of our appreciation. Before we conclude with the Shanti Mantra, a couple of announcements. One, the next session starts with at 11. Look for your parallel session which appeals to you. There are 4 parallel sessions happening, and we have excellent speakers, teachers joining us once again. So choose your venue. Before that, we have a small tea break. And one request for those who have joined us today is that please don't carry your coffee mugs or anything beyond the designated area. The food court is where you need to have it, and don't carry the coffee cups outside. Thank you very much. We'll conclude the session with the Shanti Mantra. And also, the pursuit or approach of Vedanta is that you seek what you have lost, but that can be good with the self, but not with your bags. So let's be careful with our bags, write the names on the back so that you don't end up looking for your own bags again and again. Thank you. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaः, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukhabhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.